Okay, so we've got a Goodman furnace, and on heating, we're lighting the pilot, but for some reason the heater itself is not actually coming on. So we're going to take a look at it. Usually it's the flame sensor that's got a problem. You just need to clean it, but we'll see if that fixes it or not. So when we set it to come on, what we're doing is we'll get a light. You can see in here where the flame sensor comes on. It's not coming on right now because I've got it unplugged because we're about to work on it. But it will turn the fan on the system, make sure that it's venting properly, and it'll turn on what would normally be considered the pilot light, but in here it's just kind of an electronic heated source. And then there's a sensor that lets it know that it's on, and then it can send gas to the system. So we've got some help here. We've got Sid. Sid's always real good help. And Duke, not so much. But, okay. So I'm going to shut you down here for a second while I take the panel off. It's just a couple of screws. We'll lift off right there. And we'll have a look at what's actually going on. I'll give you the model number of this unit in just a minute. I'll have to take it off and look at it, but I'll show you. And there's usually some schematics right behind this door here if we need to take it off. There is a motherboard behind this particular door that has been having some problems. I've seen online other guys, there's some bad solder joints that are causing us a few issues. But for right now, basically we have no heat. It's 60 degrees in the house, you know, trying to set it to 64, 65, something like that. We're getting only the pilot light that comes on. It's not like a normal heater. Like I said, it's not like a water heater sometimes where there's a constant flame. This is an electronic pilot light that will come on, and then it runs through the system and makes sure that the fan turns on that is exhausting the unit, which is right here. And then it will have another sensor that I'll show you that I think is the problem, which is in this area, which tells it, okay, we've got a flame, we've got exhaust, and then we need to turn on the gas. So we'll go through the system here and see if that's what the problem is. And I'll stop you for just a second and I'll open up that panel with a few screws there. If you have this model, this one you can see is not actually holding on the top door. It just holds the bottom door. But this screw holds on the top door, and this screw holds on the top door, and this is where we want to get the access to. Okay, so let me just pull that door off and I'll get back to you. Okay, so after taking off simply the screw on the left and the screw on the right, we still have our bottom panel on, which has got our motherboard and a lot of the wiring harness that controls the fan and the air conditioning unit and several things. We're in the furnace area here. Okay, so you've got your gas inlet. This is everything here. This is all the controls to basically open up the gas line to start your furnace. This, turn the light around, right in this area here. Okay, that's your pilot. Now, like I said, it's not a flame, but it will ignite and light up, and you can see it glowing from the outside. So once it lights your pilot, then it's going to say, okay, the pilot's lit, we can move on to something else. The next thing that I found online is this right in the back, right there. It's got one screw holding it on, and it's just a little sensor, and if I drop down underneath, you can see it poking through right there. Okay, now that's called a flame sensor. It's just a little metal rod, and it usually needs to be cleaned. I've had to do it once or twice over the last year or two. It seems to me like it should be a flame sensor to let you know that the furnace is on, but in reality, it's almost to let you know that I guess it's to let you know the pilot is on. because if you clean it, then the pilot will come on and it will ignite the gas, and then your furnace will start running. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull it out. It's one little screw. You simply take it off and take it out and clean it with a little bit of, I'm going to use just a little bit of Scotch Brite, whatever you want to call it, and maybe even a little soft sandpaper, and just scrub it a little bit and get any of the dust and stuff that's collected on there, and then we'll see if it lights. Okay, so let's see here. Now at this point I don't really have anything to lock down my camera, but I'll give you the gist of it if I can here by myself. I think it's okay, so it's a flathead screwdriver, and I have a Phillips. So I'm going to stop you for a second and I'll grab the right tool and I'll show you how to get off. Okay, so one little, see if I can focus for you here. One little trick I'm going to show you that I guess not a lot of people are aware of, but when you have a screwdriver like this that takes different bits, let me see if I can zoom in on the end there. Okay, it's basically a little 1/4 inch tip. Now that will actually fit your average screw here. Let me see if I can zoom in like that. Now it is a Phillips screw, but it's got edges all the way around. And if you take the bit out of your screwdriver, oh, and it had a Phillips in there actually. I didn't realize it would fit, but again, that's why we're doing this. But if you just pop the bit out of that screwdriver, the head of it will normally fit. And then you can just unscrew it like that. So if you've got a flathead or a Phillips head or something else, but it's not the right one, just pull the bit out of the screwdriver and use the head of the screwdriver itself like that. Okay? So I'm going to do just so. Okay. And remember, please, we're completely unplugged. Please be safe. Don't do any of this with it unplugged. You can certainly do some serious damage to yourself, and that's from experience, unfortunately. So please be careful. Make sure everything's de-energized. Okay. So now, this is it. It's just a little metal rod. Nothing exciting. You can see it's got some kind of weird burning on there and some strange things. And we're just going to clean it real quick, all right? Let me try to... Let's see. I'm going to stop you for a second and switch here. Okay, so not being very good at this yet. You'll get the idea, but I've already cleaned it. And it's just a little metal rod, and I've used just a small amount of, like I said, some Scotch Brite or something, and I actually took a little bit of sandpaper to it and cleaned it up to where it's just pretty nice and shiny. You can see there's nothing you have to worry about. There's no holes, there's nothing you basically just have to clean all of the dust and the buildup that's on it. And then we're going to get it right back into place. And we've got the screw. my bad. I grabbed the wrong screw. You can see they're a little different in size. This is one for the outside. That is the inside screw for the sensor. So you keep track of that. And this is nothing, it's pretty much just tapped through the aluminum or whatever there. Okay. Once again with our screwdriver with no tip in it, we're just gonna, okay, just tighten it down right there. While you're in here, may just, there's a few other things. Just check everything. Make sure everything's still connected. Okay. And now I'm going to plug this back in, and then I'll show you what we're seeing, and hopefully it will ignite. If not, we're going to have to move on. So hold on for just 1 second. I'm going to plug that back in and reset the thermostat, and we'll see what we get. So our first order of business should be, this is the motor that's going to run to the stack that basically tells it it's ventilating properly. If this motor either isn't running or it doesn't sense that it's got the right airflow, it won't turn on because you'll be burning gas or letting gas go right in your house, in your cabinet here. So this motor has to be running, making sure that it's ventilating. Then it will kick on our igniter. Then it will say, yes, the igniter's on, and we can run gas to it from that pipe into the furnace and start the blower, which is under here. Okay, so I'm going to plug it in, and I'll get right back to you in just a second. Okay, so I'm all plugged back in. We're at my thermostat. It's the Nest, obviously, set for 64. Or excuse me, yeah, it's 65 in the house. We're set for 64. So we're going to try to turn it on here. We'll go to heat. Just heard the clicking of the furnace. So hopefully you can hear it. The fan has kicked on. Just okay, another click. Okay, there's our igniter. Again, like I said, not actually a pilot, but an electronic igniter, and then hopefully we'll kick on some heat. And we've got heat. And the furnace is on and running. Okay, now to give you an idea, just in case you do this and you don't think it doesn't turn on your furnace, I have had to clean that same sensor. Hopefully you can still hear me. We're now running, the blower's on, the gas is running, and we have heat in the house. I've had to clean that same sensor now twice in the last 3 months. So I don't know if that's a manufacturing problem or heater problem. I don't know what it is exactly. And I've also had to clean it more than once just to get it started, but it always fixes the problem. So it's that small sensor right in the back, which is just called your flame sensor, which is right there. There's your igniter over there, so as long as that's coming on. And now we have complete gas, flame, and the blower is running, and we have heat back on through the house. Okay, so I will update this in just a minute with the actual information on this furnace. And again, it is a Goodman. You can see the entire thing. The furnace and the air conditioner work great. The only problem I've had on several occasions is that same sensor needs to be cleaned once in a while. And for some reason it usually turns out to be on the coldest nights of the year. But it's a quick fix. Don't call anybody. Don't spend hundreds of dollars. Be safe. Unplug. Make sure you know what you're doing. At least to some extent as far as being safe. And you can get most things running again. But as you can see, everything's okay. Sensor's back in place. It was clean. We have heat. Over here we have a blower running. And you can't quite, oh, there's the red light. So we've got a red light on there, and that tells us that we're running good. All right. Thank you, and I will update any information on the furnace and AC that I can. If you have any questions, please send them to me. Thank you.